So we decided to, and when I say decided to do this, I mean literally we decided to do this at the last minute. And to the point where this introduction is now being recorded after we've conducted interviews, so it may not make sense if you listen to it in order. But anyway, my name's Joe Lodanosky. I do Edinburgh Wrestling, play-by-play for Edinburgh Wrestling with former Fighting Scott Dylan Reynolds and sometimes former assistant Gary Estorino. John Stroup, who is joining us, this is actually his brainchild, has done Clarion Radio for quite some time. So we've decided that, and we may not be the ones to actually deliver the goods, but we've addressed the problem, or we found the problem. Whether we addressed it or not is a different story. We've sort of taken it upon ourselves to try to make Mac Wrestling have somewhat of a home, somewhat of a platform. Whether it's always in the form of a podcast or not, that is to be determined. But again, a lot's happened in 48 hours. So here we are, John. We're going to do our best. Interesting. And I think what makes this right is that no one said no.
Right.
So I think that we're on to something that there is in fact a void.
And you're right, Joe. I saw it and I was thinking, what's the Big Ten or Big Ten broadcast? The Big 12, they have theirs, and I'm sure some of the other ones have their sense of promoting the league and informing people of what's going on. And that was kind of what I was thinking, whether it's a brainstorm or a brain drizzle, whatever the case may be in my case. But I thought it was important because it needed to be promoted. The individual schools, and like you said, the coaches all came together. They were right away when we asked them, were you able to put this together? It didn't have any refusals. And my sadness is we didn't get it going fast enough to get more coaches. But at that stage, you have a lot of time you're putting into it too. And how much can people watch? So that's where I think that this is a good start. Hopefully we can do something after the Nationals that we can highlight maybe potentially some All-Americans from the MAC.
And of course, this is not a shot at the MAC because this is where we are with, and we can blame football because it is football. And,
right.
And I think that it doesn't have a home per se is because, well, a lot of the schools in the MAC aren't really in the MAC. They're only in the MAC for wrestling. So it's a little bit, different. And, we have, as a result, we have different rules and, different hurdles that we're forced to deal with as a result of that. And again, I don't think it's a shot at anybody. I think that is the reality.
Right.
And obviously geography kind of stinks, but it is what it is. And there's the East Division and there's the West Division. Now the one, I was just a comm major, and I went to Clarion. I was just a comm major, but I don't understand how Buffalo is in the West. I don't know if this is the time to air that long. It is not. How is
geography? You weren't the geography major.
I was just a comm major, man. But I know enough. I know enough that Buffalo should not be in the West. I just felt the need to get that off my chest.
Well, you got it off your chest. Now we won't worry about it because it is what it is, and then we'll move on from there. But yeah, I think we have reasons to be doing this, and maybe some of it is wrestlers being wrestlers. They have an attitude sometimes. I won't say it, but if they can't take it, we'll work on our own, and we're individuals. So, but this is kind of working with the coaches to say, like I said, I've been very encouraged. The coaches we've talked to so far have wanted this. So I think this.
Yeah,
is
I said nobody said no. So we are going to do the best we can, and of course, this might be the year that the league has a national champion. And, Ethan Laird, who is, I believe, going to be a part of this in some way, shape, or form, as we are doing this all on the fly. But 197 pounds is very open. Very open. And he is really good. Really good.
Impressed. I've been impressed with him when I see him.
And like it's different now, I think, for Ethan. And I look forward to getting a chance to talk to him I don't think anybody is in the feel good business. I don't think it's the feel good business. But to me, it is worth noting that if I feel confident saying if Ethan Laird is not an All-American, I think that's the story. He's that good in my mind.
Yes.
And that's wide open. So why not win a national title? Somebody has to.
Really. And he'd already beat the defending once this year, so move forward.
Yeah. So I think that one is interesting. And then the other one that I think I think Noto from Lock Haven is of All-American ilk.
With the 8th seed, yeah, he's right there with it.
Yeah. And I don't know. That's one of those. That's a weight class that I think that a lot of people sort of, unless you're in a team room, so I can safely say this. I think, barring injury, the question is who finishes 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. It's the Spencer Lee Invitational, right?
Well, exactly. But that, in some ways, with his draw being 8th, getting Spencer Lee in the quarterfinals actually gets you a good advantage because you drop down. Even if you lose, you never know. But if you lose, you drop down to that bracket and kind of you get down somewhat at a position where where you should be. But there's people that lose the semis and the quarters that think I should have won. Their attitude's a lot different. And sometimes you let that slip, and that attitude is almost a defeating one. So I think he's in a good position.
Yeah. I mean, again, he's. I'm not saying Noto can't beat him. I mean, anybody. You play the game, but you're talking about an all-timer here.
Yeah.
In Spencer Lee.
Right.
I mean. I mean, if you're putting Mount Rushmore, at the very least, he's in the conversation.
Yes.
So
he's on him. He has made himself known throughout the years, and of course, we've enjoyed watching him from high school time.
Yeah,
and we'll even put a point that maybe being from a little south of here originally,
Segertown. Yeah, no, so it's not. But again, so I think those are my two guys, and I'm not going out on a limb here, but I think Laird and Noto are the ones that can really carry the flag, if you would.
I definitely think so, and there's some other ones in there. But again, we talked earlier with Clarence coach, and I relate back to my younger days in 72. So I'll age myself a little bit. Gary Barton coming out of nowhere for Clarion. You just get a good tournament. You set yourself up. You don't know what's going on. A move works for you that hasn't worked for a while. And all of a sudden you get yourself a couple upsets here and there, and your whole attitude changes. And that's where I use that Gary Barton story as much as anything. Anybody can do anything.
You get in that spot, and to your point, that didn't work. Now it does. You get one and then another. You're starting to think, wow. I mean, you've got that downhill momentum, and then what happens is you run into everybody else. They see the brackets. They see who you've beaten, and now they're starting to. They're questioning what
does he have that I've missed before, and that's exactly it. And with 27 wrestlers in there, one of them might catch the wind and really do that. And that's really what I'm looking for. We have 27 people from the MAC plus possibly some alternatives, I guess.
Yeah, McGill.
Alternatives, yeah. And so that could be interesting to see how people come up and through the ranks.
So, yes, we're going to do our best and let the chips fall where they may. And, of course, this is a work in progress, and we want to thank all the coaches, wrestlers, and schools that have, at the very least, played along. So that's the preview that's being recorded in the middle of, but, yeah, that's that. So,
Okay.
and hopefully, if nothing else, we have convinced Keith Ferraro to take the gong to Tulsa.
Yes, I hope he does. So it might make some people a little upset, but I think it's worthy of being out there.
You know, I guess you're older than I am, but I'm old enough now where I could be convinced to be an old guy or a young guy, depending. But, you know, I think that in many respects, you know, like I always say about baseball, if the unwritten rules were so damn important, somebody should have written them down.
Right.
Right. So like I get it. Like I totally get it. But if you hit a gong after the pin, cool. And it's a gong, not a bong. We're not breaking anything. Like, you know, why is the backflip like, wow, that guy's awesome,
Yeah.
but the gong's too much?
Right.
Like sometimes there's no shame in just having fun.
Right. And that really has sparked some things with the clearing program too, I think.
And, you know, I don't know if it's related or not. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But, you know, in many respects, like I've never wrestled in my life. I grew up in an area that cares a lot about wrestling, and I've been around it my entire life. Other than winning, wrestling sucks. Like, it sucks. So, you know, if you are going to work hours and hours and hours and hours a week, and you go out there and you only get to perform for 17 seconds, now, granted, you're on the right side of 17 seconds, but I think at the very least, you deserve to hit a gong. Like, there are certain hills to die on, and there's certain things to be offended about, and there's certain things that are sportsmanship and not. I'm not certain that is a hill of beans in the grand scheme of things.
No, it's not. It's not. So again, it's
and if you're offended by it, I think you just want to be offended about something.
Like you said, you know, sometimes the sport it's dedication. It's hard work. People don't realize, and that's why you see a lot of wrestlers succeeding in life, because they know how to work hard. And but to have a little fun too isn't a bad.
No, I totally agree. So anyway, all right. So there's the introduction in the middle, and well, we will let the chips fall where they may. And again, thank you to everybody that played along, and thank you for listening along.
Thank you.